Have you always wanted to learn to fly and you kind of don't know where to start? Well, one of the first steps is called a discovery flight, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today with a friend of mine and his daughter. So we're going to jump in 2-3 uniform and head into the mountains here in Alaska. Let's go. Hey folks, Chris Palmer here from angleofattack.com with another video for you guys. So today I am expecting here in just a few minutes some friends of mine coming by, and we're going to be taking a discovery flight. They have a 16, 17-year-old daughter. I forget how old she is, but she's kind of interested in flying. Now this is pretty cool because we're working with Mike Patey. He put out something that said that he'd pay for some discovery flights. So I've been waiting for a special occasion to do that, and today is the day. The weather is finally great. 2-3 uniform is all cleaned. She's ready to go, and we're gonna head into the mountains here and do that discovery flight where I actually let the student control the airplane, see if they want to do this more than just on a discovery flight, actually go for their private pilot. So this is just a really cool opportunity where I give them some really short pointers and they get to actually fly the airplane. So I'm expecting my guests shortly. Once they get here, let's jump in the airplane and we will head into the mountains out here. Okay, I am ready to start the engine, so you need to keep clear of the propeller, sir.
Yeah, get out of here.
Okay.
He has no idea how to trigger it.
So now I'm going to get the weather, and I usually write this down here with my fancy...
Palmer Airport information, Echo, time 1754 Zulu, wind variable at 4. Weather is better than 5005. Temperature 17.2.11, altimeter 298, favored runway at pilot's discretion. Notice to airmen, work in progress on Beluga Lake for vegetation control, mainly on the south area.
So that kind of tells us what runway we're using, the wind, the altimeter, 29er, and that should match field elevation. We got it over here as well. And so I'll eventually talk to them and stuff and tell them where we're at. You'll hear me. You probably won't understand anything I'm saying, but that's cool. Eventually you can learn. And so now I'm just gonna let go of the brakes. You see we start moving. I'm gonna test the brakes, make sure they're still working. They are. And in an airplane, we steer with our feet, not our hands. So you're lucky because you haven't been driving very long, but old people are really confused. So you'll see now, no hands, and I'm just steering this way. You can put your feet on the pedals if you want, feel what I'm doing. So now we'll turn around right here, and I'm going to check all the engine instruments and everything, and the systems, make sure everything's running properly before we go in the air. Of course, we did that big pre-flight on the ground, check everything there visually, but now we check when it's actually running. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Cool. Okay, so now we're in this run-up area. My fuel is on both trim. That goes somewhere in here. Flaps are up. Check our flight controls. So make sure nothing is in the way. Mixture's best power. Primer's in and locked. And now I run up the engine. We check the RPM. Get to about 1600. And then I'm going to check what are called the magnetos. We want a little bit of a drop when that happens. So there's the left one. There's the right one. So that's good. We got good pressure, got good temperature. When I turn this carb heat on, you'll see that carb T thing rise. Fuel flow, everything looks good. We'll make sure it idles okay. So now, we're gonna pull out on the runway. We're gonna take off this direction since the winds are calm. And you're gonna take the controls. And when we line up with the runway, you'll have your right hand on the throttle like this. And you'll push it in 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. That's as fast as I want it, or yeah, that's as slow as I want it to go. No slower than that. So we'll just push in the throttle, make sure it's all the way, and then you'll hold your hand there to make sure this doesn't like creep back out. So we have all the power. I'll steer on the runway for us with the pedals, and then we're going to be going down the runway, creating all this energy and wind underneath the wings, and eventually the airplane's going to get to a point where it can support our weight to fly. So that's going to be around 50 to 60 miles per hour, you'll see here. But really you'll just feel the airplane kind of get bouncy on its feet, and then you'll pull the controls back just about like this, and the nose will come off the runway, and then we'll climb just on the horizon. So I'll be there to help you. Should be pretty simple and easy. All right. Why don't you go ahead and put your hands on the controls, so you'll have your left hand on the control over there and then your right hand on the throttle eventually. So go ahead and push that forward so you can see how we add power. Okay, good. Now pull it back a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit less, I guess I should say. And then we're going to stop before this line here. So now that you know how that works, that'll help when we go line up. Homer Radio, Skyhawk 2423 uniform. Information Echo, holding short, Bravo North, and I've got a flight plan for you as well.
I'm a 2423 uniform, Homer Radio, roger, please go ahead with your flight plan.
23 uniform, I got 3 souls on board, 5 hours of fuel. We're going to be going over to McEwen, Hazel, Chinapoot, and around the coastline to Grewink and back. Give us 1 hour.
My 23 uniform, flight plan on file. Are you ready to taxi out?
Yeah, we're about to take off.
My 23 uniform, traffic caravan inbound for the runway 20 miles north about 4 minutes ago.
All right, 23 uniform, we'll take runway 4, departure over the spit. Okay, so I'll get us out here. And I'm looking for airplanes just in case no one's talking on the radio, which they are, but just good to visually check. All right, you ready?
4.
Okay, your hand on the throttle. That's the throttle. And go ahead and push it all the way in. Okay, and keep your hand there. You don't have to like hurt your hand, but make sure it doesn't creep out. All right, we're accelerating. We're lined up with the runway. We're getting around 50, 60, and now you can start to pull back on this, Yep, there you go, keep pulling back, and there we go, we're flying. And that's about all it takes. There you go. No hands, ma. So this is about perfect. What happens when you let go? Go ahead and let, yep, you see that? That's kind of how an airplane should fly. It's going a little nose down. You see how the nose is going down? So I can take off those pressures with this little wheel down here called a trim wheel. And now you shouldn't have to, so your controls. Now all you have to do is just a couple little fingers to stay there. All right, we'll turn out this way. So when we turn, the airplane kind of wants to keep coming over. So if you keep a constant, kind of a constant bank angle we call it, it'll look just like that. Pretty cool. And now you can roll the wings level as we're still climbing.
Homer traffic, Empire 208, but 10 mile final 22 Homer.
You're doing it. All right, you can turn out so you can get the spit on your left-hand side there.
Homer Airport information, Foxtrot now.
There you go.
Wind calm, altimeter 2989er.
Homer traffic, 2423 uniform. We're turning off the downwind along the spit now. 1500 climbing. And this is a good heading. Head straight toward that peak out there. And then what I would do is I would just keep the wings level. So I'd do something like this. And each little turn will help. And sometimes it just takes a little tiny nudge here and there to correct it. I teach my students to fly with just like a really light grip and a couple fingers. So you could even like put your right hand on your lap. So you just fly with, there you go. There we go, perfect.
What a beautiful day.
I know, look at this.
Look for whales.
Okay, so now we're gonna do level flight, which means we're not gonna climb anymore. This is kind of telling us we're climbing. What's cool is when we do that, then you see a lot more out front. So it's kind of cool. And then I retrim the airplane so that we don't have to fight it. We let the airplane do the flying. I'll pull the power back a little bit. Kind of like that.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh? So now you can kind of turn that direction. We'll just like stay along the coastline there. I can see the wind here on my gauges. It's just a little strong today.
Which ridge line is this one?
To the right? That's Grace Ridge.
Right here? That's Grace?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. This is...
Yep, that's right down, clear alpha.
There we go, that's perfect. If it's too bumpy here, we can scoot over a little bit more too. So this little thing here tells me how much of a headwind I have. That little head of 5, 4. So when we were over there, it was at 20, and I could tell like it was going to be a little rough, but we'll just see what it's like around the corner here. You're doing it. I'm hardly flying at all. That's pretty cool.
22 and departing to the north.
And on a windy day, it'll keep dropping your wing. You just got to fight for the heading you want. That is pretty cool. We'll stay right about here. And nice and loose on the controls. Do you feel like you're holding them tight or anything?
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we'll come up here, and I might even help on the controls a little bit, but we're gonna do one big turn to the right. Okay, here we go. Nice smooth turn, just like this.
Caution, terrain.
I understand. Thank you very much for your input. Okay. This is nice. We got a nice bank angle. From this direction, the wind on the glacier can kind of pick up the wings sometimes, so we just fight that.
We don't want to flip over. No flippies.
We would never flip it, but... And now come out this way a little bit more. There are eagles that like to play right there in the updraft.
Oh my goodness.
And when we turn, we lose a little bit of our like vertical lift, and so we just do a touch of back pressure to maintain our altitude. She's doing good. I think she's getting the hang of it now. And we're gonna go over here and look at these other glaciers just from a distance, and then we'll go back. Would you guys rather go back the pretty way here, or would you rather go to the other side of the bay and fly along East End Road?
Buzz East End Road.
You want to do East End?
Well, I don't care.
Okay.
Sienna choose.
Whatever the pretty way is, let's do that.
Okay, this side is the pretty way. So if we do this side, Rebecca, I'll stay out a little further so it's not as bumpy, okay?
It's fine. I don't mind the bumpy a little.
Okay. So on this side, you see obviously all the ice here, and all the glaciers come down that ice, which you probably knew. It's technically part of the Harding ice field.
All the places you can fly, Sienna. All the really fun things.
Pretty cool.
Go be a pilot in Africa and fly over the Masai Mara and see the elephants.
Do that.
You can kind of tell when it's going to be a little rough over here though, because the clouds form right at the top of the mountains. So there's air coming from the other side condensing. Here's Bear Cove. Alright, why don't you do a big right 180 degree turn. And so you see as we bank, we'll keep it about there for your mom. You see how this is pointing down? That's because we're losing a little altitude, so if we just do a little bit of back pressure, we can get that to stop. But really what we do is we actually look out here a lot, so as we went into that turn, I could tell our nose kind of fell down. So those are the kind of instinctual things you get used to in your flight training, is how to counteract that as you're flying.
The water's so blue.
Radio, good morning.
Now you'll have all the pretty stuff on your side.
Juliet on the north ramp here with information. Foxtrot, we have the Raven site request advisory.
There you go, and now you're gonna roll the wings level about right here.
75 Juliet, Homer Radio. Good morning, additional traffic is helicopter.
And now we're gonna get that lift back, so if you saw that back pressure, we'd climb a little bit.
75 Juliet, thank you.
And you can just follow the coastline all the way back.
The tour's doing over there.
Greenfly 506 here, for Houston, Kansas.
Not too bad, huh? Cool way to see Alaska. A bit of a cloudy day, but it's not bad.
No, at least I need sunglasses.
Nice and smooth out here. See all the dirty water mixing with the ocean? That's cool. You can kind of aim right for where that water's coming out. I don't like to be too far out over the water. Now, Centerpoint does glide, so like I'm not like worried about a place to land. We'd find a place to land, but out over the water, no place to land. KB traffic, Skyhawk 2423 uniform. We're just about coming up on Grewing Spit, 3,000 feet, and we are southbound.
Do we have a control tower in Homer?
Nope. We have what's called a flight service tower. They just offer like flight plans and weather and traffic, but they can't tell you what to do. So now I'm going to get the weather again, see if it's changed.
Weather is better than 5005. Temperature 17, dew point 11. Altimeter 29829er. Favored runway at pilot's discretion. Notice to
Sounds the
airmen,
same.
work in progress on Beluga Lake for vegetation control, mostly on the south side of the lake. An air met is in effect for mountain obscuration. Pilot weather reports are appreciated. For traffic advisories, contact Homer Radio on frequency 123.6. Advise on initial contact via Foxtrot.
Oh, it did change.
Homer Airport information Foxtrot, time 1851 Zulu. Wind light and variable. Weather is better than 5005. Temperature 17, dew point 11. Altimeter 29829er. Favored runway at pilot's discretion. Notice to airmen, work in progress on Beluga.
Pretty cool.
Is he trying to poop?
There it is.
This one's trying to poop.
Little pointy one, like a Hershey's Kiss.
Okay, well, we're going to go back in now. I'm going to make a radio call. Homer Radio, Skyhawk 2423 uniform. We're over Gull Island 2500 and with information Foxtrot.
I'm at 2423 uniform, Homer Radio traffic. 3 Cessnas taxiing out, 2 of them southbound and 1 of them westbound, all off the runway.
23 uniform, thanks. And you said they're already off the runway?
I'm at 23 uniform. The first one has just departed, the second one is getting ready to depart, and the third one is taxiing.
Thanks, 23 uniform, we'll be looking.
More charge, Skywagon Air 1.
And so I just reduced the power, you probably heard that. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the airplane to just naturally
There's 6 Zulu Victor, line and
descend. That looks good. You see how I set it up so we can kind of, like literally I tell my students to let go. See how the airplane's flying. Then obviously as we get closer to an airport, there's more people, so we communicate a lot more as we get closer. So we'll see which runway they're using. Homer traffic 23 uniform, tip of the spit, just north of the tip of the spit, descending, planning runway 4.
Yeah, Homer traffic, it's Airbat 75 Juliet. Coming up on barge base near climbing through 800 feet. We'll be on the west side of the spit. Homer.
Gotcha, Henry.
Homer traffic, Transformer 52 taking the active. We'll be departing 4 from Alpha. We'll be turning out to the north.
See him crossing the spit there. So we try to get eyes on everyone. So we'll be on the controls a little bit more with you since we're setting up for landing. You can follow along. And I'm reducing power.
Homer radius, Monkey Bay, 6 off Bravo, Foxtrot, find yourself.
And 23 uniform, we're just over the spit now on a little bit of a right downwind runway 4. Okay, so we're setting up for landing. I'm going to add those flaps.
Homer traffic, Monkey Bay, 6 off Bravo, departing 04, we're down the spit.
And then I'm just reducing the power, getting the airspeed down, slowing down, because obviously we don't want to land super fast.
Starboard off runway 4, we're climbing out at 800, we'll be northbound, Homer.
And all the people camping.
Okay, he's right above us. Homer traffic 2-3 uniform. Base to final runway 4, Homer. I'm looking at my airspeed. That kind of just gives me an idea of our flying ability on the wings, but I can kind of feel it too. This instrument also tells us that little green dot is like right where it needs to be. But now, what I try to do is I try to fly as hands-off as I can. Get it all trimmed. I've got power flaps. And we have a nice gradual descent angle down on a good speed. And it's just light corrections. You'll see what happens here at the end, because obviously I don't just go down and slam. I'll actually pull the nose up and get rid of the last little bits of flying energy.
Homer radio, Cessna 7269 November plus.
So I look down the runway.
Runway 4. With this Foxtrot, give me a southbound departure and
hold it off.
Northern and
there we go. Then I'll get on the brakes a little bit.
Copy flight of 2 and additional traffic to Cessna southbound within the last 3.5 minutes.
Because we got to turn around.
Thanks, 69.
Homer traffic 2-3 uniform, back taxi, runway 4, Bravo North. All that probably moved really fast for you, but eventually it slows down. You learn all those little things and those steps and the things to check.
This makes it seem really easy.
Yeah, I mean, you do everything you can to make it easy, you know? You learn it well, you practice. I like having like a calm attitude about everything. Constantly thinking about safety and things that could threaten me, you know? Okay.
Homer traffic, 6 November plus 1 departing runway 4. Be ready. Turn out then.
Homer radio 2-3 uniform, close our flight plan, please.
Homer 2-3 uniform, flight plan close, thanks.
Thanks. We get to play with the big boys out here. Raven. Sometimes we make Raven wait for us.
Get it?
Oh, is that the airport?
That's right next to my hangar. My boys will run out if they hear Raven. Raven! They'll run out and see it taxi in or take off. Alright, where's your daddy-o? He must be taking a nap.
Probably.
Where is he? If I had a horn, I'd honk at him. So now I can just remove the fuel. That stops the engine.
Alright folks, that was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed following along for some of that discovery flight. Always good to take a youngster up and instill a sense of, I don't know, love of aviation in them. Let them try it out a little bit and see if it's something they want to do in the future. And of course sharing a bit of what it takes and what the process is like. So thanks to these guys for coming along, and also thanks to you for coming along, and a big thanks to Mike Patey and the crew for sponsoring this flight. And thanks, Mike, for all you do as well. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to stick around, and of course that notification bell, as you guys know, to not miss any of the notifications. Alright, until next time, throttle on.